Alrighty, welcome back to the Rolling Conversation. I'm your host, Francisco Lima.
And I'm your co-host, Natasha Dillon.
And then today we're going to talk about leadership. I believe leadership is something else everybody at some point needs to have, right? So be a leader. It's not mandatory for everybody, but at some point we need to control and understanding, right, what we need to put like a priority. And we're going to talk about today Extreme Ownership by Jocko and Leif. Both of them were Navy SEALs. And then this book literally changed my life. And I want to share with you guys. So what do you think about leadership, Natasha?
Yeah, I think leadership is a very important skill that can be learned. I think that although we have people that are born with this skill, it is something that can be developed, right? So this book shows and outlines ways different leaders can improve their leadership skills and use those qualities to improve not only their lives, but the lives of their team.
Absolutely. And I love what you said. I believe that people are born with, potential skills to be like a natural leader. And then others, they can develop, right, those skills by studying, by watching how the other leaders, they do, and then they can improve those skills, right? Mm-hmm. In reality, I never thought I want to be a leader. And then all of a sudden I saw the benefits of leading and the beauty actually, mm-hmm. right? Guide people in the different and the good paths, and then see people accomplishing goals and the achievements. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It's really a pleasure. So we're going to start speaking about 8 keys of leadership. And I just want to let you guys know that's not exactly what Jocko and Leif, they said, but that's what I understand, and I want to put in my words right here. What does a leadership means to me right now? And accordingly, of course, what I read from them. And then we're going to start with the ownership. I think that one, it's one of the first and then the most powerful one. It's ownership. And what do you understand about ownership, Natasha? Can you tell me what's going to be your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I also read the book, right? So Jocko outlines extreme ownership as a leader taking responsibility for all of the actions of his team. And I thought that was an incredible insight, because a lot of times we have leaders that whenever the team fails, it's always an individual's problem, right? It's oh, okay, this person didn't execute. This person, they made a mistake, and it's their fault that the whole team got dragged down. But the point that Jocko outlined is, no, as a leader, everything that happens within your team is your responsibility. And it's your responsibility to take ownership of that so that you can correct the mistakes and make sure your team can lead and they can win.
I agree exactly what you said, Natasha. I think it's beautiful. And I was in the Army for 7 years, and then I agree exactly what you say, Natasha, and I think it's beautiful. It's unbelievable. Because I was in the Army for 7 years, and then I was a soldier. And then, yes, so if somebody else like me make a mistake, of course it's my fault, right? Mm-hmm. But did I make a mistake because I didn't know better? Who was supposed to teach me? So it's really easy blame somebody on the bottom for something else happened, and then it was compromised the whole group, the whole communication, and just as a leader take my back out of this, and then blame this guy, mm-hmm. because I don't want to be ashamed because he made a mistake, right? So the ownership is something else that's changed my life. So since I understand that everything in my life, it was my responsibility. The results I was having in my life, it was my responsibility. I literally changed the way I was looking at things. Like, oh, I didn't fall right here, but that's not my fault. It was like my mom, my parents, or my dad, or my friends, or my group, or like my students, like. And there always was like, I was in the background, right? I was in the backstage. I never was in the stage. And then because like somebody was there and then it wasn't me. So when you understand that ownership, that's like a important key for you step forward, not as a leader, but understanding how you can change the results on your life, is gonna change the games. It's gonna change everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. And taking that like out of the concept of even a team structure, having that personal responsibility for yourself is incredibly important, because I think it's in a lot of our personalities. It's like almost a trait of human nature to want to blame everything and everyone else for whatever problems you have, whatever failures you have, because it's easier to do that than it is to own the mistake and to make the corrections that go along with that. Because, you have these feelings when you take that ownership, you have these feelings of like, oh, like I messed up. Oh, well, what are you going to do about it now? You have to take ownership of that and you have to correct the mistake.
If you still do not understand what does it mean ownership, it's acknowledge you messed up. That's all. I acknowledge I didn't well. I acknowledge I need to change. I acknowledge I need to step in a different way. I acknowledge the results I am having right now. It's because my actions is leading for this. And in order to change, I needed to change what I do. The first step to change your results, it's change the way are you acting. Like take responsibility for everything. And then it's beautiful because we are talking about Jiu-Jitsu as well. If I'm in class as a professor and then something's not going well in my classes, it's really easy like, oh, these students like is not cooperated. Or maybe the blue belt is hurting another student because he's like such a bad guy. Or because nobody knows how to break your fall. Like, hey, if they are hurting, it's because you don't let them know they cannot hurt your students. Like maybe if the students like mess around, maybe because you don't have that control that much in the class. Maybe if your students like don't know how to break your fall, that's because you maybe didn't teach them how to break your fall. So it's stop blaming others for the results and they take a responsibility for what you want to change and they take the actions to change it.
And taking that even to a competition mindset, right? I've had my moments in the past where I'm in competition, something doesn't go my way. And instead of looking at the things that I did and how I contributed to why the competition didn't go my way, I was like, oh, you know what? It's the ref's fault. And who does that help? It doesn't help me grow as a competitor.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the results of the match, right? So if you don't take that ownership, nothing changes.
It's just you look what you did, right? Even if you are expecting it was supposed to be the way or not, you acknowledge you made a mistake, you want to change something else, and then go for like different results. That's what we need.
Absolutely.
We want to talk about leaders. I think this is like really tough one actually. Actually, all of this to be like a nice leader is really tough, right? Because coming back for ownership, it has one thing right now just popped in my mind. We don't want to be wrong.
No.
That's why we don't take responsibility. That's why you don't take ownership. And then that's the most mistake everybody does. We don't take ownerships because we don't want to be wrong. And then what's the wrong to be wrong?
Yeah.
Why we need to be right every single time? That's a problem. So be wrong happens. And then when you acknowledge you're wrong, you can fix things.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly what you're talking about when you go for a competition. If you don't think I did it wrong, you're never going to fix. Always going to put in somebody else's shoulders, then nothing's going to change that much, right? So this why is really tough as well because leaders, they have an important responsibility to take important decisions and they're also really difficult, right? So, for example, I'm a salesperson, right? I have like a team, and then I needed to sell computers, and then I have like 5 people, and then we have like a goal monthly to sell whatever it is, 10, 20 computers. But one of my sellers, he's not selling what was supposed to be, right? And then he's in a certain way, he's like being a little bit toxic for the group, right? He's not cooperating. He's not like with at the same page, always like bragging, gossiping, talking about others, or maybe talking about the leader. And the other side, sometimes this guy, he's like one of the best sellers, right? However, he's contaminated the whole group with his bad ideas. So as a leader, we sometimes need to take a step to eliminate this, right? So how I can, sometimes with a good communication training, we're gonna like clarify the whole group, and then try make everybody's gonna be the same step. But sometimes people, they have like little long time to change, right? And then we cannot wait in that time it to be done sometimes, right? To have like a healthy community, a healthy group, like selling them at the same time. So we need to take responsibility to clean it up. And then sometimes you need to let the person go, even we don't wanna, but in order to have a better result for the group, for the individual results, and then of course for the whole community, we need to let these people or this specific person go, because it doesn't have another way, right? We need to cut it. So what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So thankfully, we have such a wonderful community here. So I don't believe we've run into many situations where we've had to have a member of our community exit, right? But I have in the past on basketball teams had a person on the team that was a very good basketball player, was like on the court, would do everything for our team. However, because of situations that were off the court, they were making the whole team toxic, right? So their lack of work ethic off the court during like practices and stuff like that was contaminating the team. And my coach at the time had to make a decision as a leader. Okay, this person is benefiting our team in the certain ways that they are producing when it comes time to game time. But during practice, they're unmotivated. They are bringing the energy of the team down. They are like pushing around rumors that are just making everybody uncomfortable on the team. And although they are a really good scorer, we can't have them here.
It's a really tough decision, because you think about one athlete, right? So how important this guy is to the group. But on the other hand, it's how he's bringing so much, as you said, bad energy, right? And then this energy can drag the whole team down. And sometimes you cannot perform really well. It doesn't matter how good you're going to be. Everybody's so drained, so depressed, right? That's like, it's not going to work, right? So leaders, we need to understand, sometimes we need to have like a really important role to take decisions. It's gonna reflect direct on like individual person, individual like space of a group, and then the whole community, and then the whole business. Like if you're talking about like a big picture, right? I'm talking about the same stuff as you have, like bring it to Jiu-Jitsu, right? And then a long time ago, I have a student, like he was late in class. He doesn't want to do the warm up with everyone. It was a guy just focus on himself and then do his drills and the techniques. And then after all, like going really hard with everybody, doesn't care who's going to train with him. And then eventually, I saw people getting a lot of injuries because of him. And then at that point, I talked with him about it. And then I bring him my ideas about how he's gonna like add it to the group instead like subtract it. And then I talked with the owner of the school that was working, by the way, and then he said like, Chico, you gotta figure it out. He's the way he is, and then that's all. It's like, hey, buddy, we can't think like that. We can work around like a business or a jiu-jitsu school because it's a business. Like you're expecting this guy or the whole class is gonna like redirect it to him. So he's gonna redirect it to the group. Like he needs to understand like the whole functionality of the group, how that works. No, like we're gonna like adaptate it for him,
right?
Because he's the guy no connect with everybody else. So for the point I couldn't do like that much because I just was an employee. But if it was my students, of course I was like sitting with him, having a conversation, and it's like, hey buddy, you can't do that because eventually I need to let you go in order to everybody be happy, because I cannot have only you happy and then like the whole school sad because you know like cooperating and then the benefits for everybody. So really decisions and the tough decisions is going to be part of your job if you want to be a leader.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point as well, because your job as a leader when you're like shaping a team, when you're trying to help your team perform as best as possible, is that when you have somebody that doesn't mesh with the culture or is doing something that goes against what the objective of the team is, it's your job as a leader to try and correct that, right? So you have to have those conversations like, hey, this is where you're falling short on the team, and this is what you need to do in order to improve. But you can only do so much when that person doesn't respond. And from there, it's time to make the tough decision that even though they're a valuable member of your team, you can't have them there, because that culture, that energy, it starts to spread.
100%. And then again, we need to think about the whole community, just like no only
the individual.
Right? So leaders, we are talking about tough decisions at every time, like ownership, making the important and difficult decisions, right? So right now, ego. Leaders cannot have ego, right? So it's kind of connected with ownership, if you can see, because if you don't want to be wrong, it means my ego is not my amigo, right? Right? It's like really high. So when you feel I can be wrong, it's me like you have your ego really under control, right? So I, as a leader, right, and then as a black belt, we want to provide good classes, good jiu-jitsu for your students. You want to like show them that you know, right? And then you know boss than everybody. But at some point, you got to say like, hey, I don't know, right? So the ego has to be something like really important to keep a nice and healthy balance between all of us. You cannot have your ego take control of your actions. So the leader has to be humble, and at some point they have to tell your students, like your team, I don't have the answer for your question. However, I want to looking for an answer. I want to make my research. I want to provide a better understanding about what he asked me. And they want to come back with the answer. You're going to discuss again, and they want to find the best solution for what you have, no matter what's going to be the point to you intro, right? So what do you think? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to be wrong. People are often really afraid of looking stupid. They don't want other people to know that they don't have the answer because they have all of these fears, right? But first of all, this is something that you do very well. If we ever have a question, we come to you, and you don't know the answer, you tell us, listen, I don't know the answer, but we can figure this out. I think that is a like incredibly important aspect of being a leader, because it shows that you have a willingness to learn. If you are constantly trying to make up an answer or just dodging the question altogether, not only are you not taking ownership of the fact that you don't know what the answer is, you're also like, you're shirking your own responsibility to learn and to grow. You're avoiding the possibility of your own growth, as well as limiting your student or the member of your team's growth. And I think that being able to admit when you're wrong, as well as say, hey, I don't have the answer, that is one of the foundational principles of being a good leader.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then as a leader, I don't have any problem to say sometimes I don't know. I think it's normal. Do not know, it's a process of learning. Like, how you gonna know right now? It just go get information, come back, because that's exactly how people get there. I want to connect this ego with leaders doesn't know anything, right? So also to make sure your ego is no taking control of your actions, we gotta listen. As a leader, then think about it. All these books I've been reading my whole life, we talking about one thing is so fundamental: listening, right? Listening others. So like, people usually, they just want to speak about themselves. They just want to talk about their experiences. They just want to talk about what they like, what they do, but they are forgetting to asking about others, what they like, what they do, how they feel. And these open ears changing, right? Relationships. So as a leader, I understand I need to listen my students, and I do this all the time. Sometimes I have like student come to me, Professor, I would love to not do that. Are you okay with that? So of course, don't do it. If you don't feel good, if you cannot like execute the exercise, like, please don't do it.
Right.
Or, Professor, I don't want to train with this person because I don't feel comfortable. It's okay. It's normal, right? I think it's like something's personal that you need to respect. And then I listen to you. I want to change your training partners. Like, whatever's going to be your reason, I got to respect you. Well, Professor, I think your classes should be that way. We can switch a little bit. I heard you. Let's try to do that. I give you an opportunity to see what my students feeling, what they telling me, and they want to try apply. If it works, let's go keep that way. If it doesn't work, we're gonna change or come back for the old format. But it's really important you have open ears. You listen, because your students, they are your customers by the end of the day. They are paying the membership. They are paying your school to train you there. They are your students, but in the meantime, they are your customers. They are requiring things for you, and then you need to provide. You provide a service, and then if they need a little bit more than that, you got to provide to them.
Right. Yeah. I also think that when you're providing a service, right, you have to listen to feedback, right? So as a leader, you are going to like defer to your own personal style of leadership, right? But not everybody learns in the same way. Not everybody responds to the same type of stimulus in the way that you're going to be expecting, right? So the only way that you can reach some people is by listening to the ways that they learn, the ways that they are going to respond to things. So in the context of jiu-jitsu, if somebody doesn't like to pull guard and that's all you do, right, that person is not going to be responsive to learning the technique, right? So it's just, listening is important to improve your own leadership skills, and it's important to improve your students as well.
100%. And then for me, listening became one of my favorite skills. So I love to talk. You know that, right? Sometimes we finish a class right here, we stay talking for like extra 20, 30 minutes, just speaking about what happened or information. And then like you guys pop up with different matter subjects. And then I love giving my experience, right? My knowledge, what I've been learning my whole life, and then, but I like to like listen as well. It's really important you listen to others. So, like open your ears, sit, and then sometimes do not speak. Just shut up, right? And then listen to others. Like heard them like what they wanna tell to you. Let them open their heart. And that is you like if you wanna be like a jiu-jitsu instructor, don't think you know everything. Don't think your ego is more powerful than you. Tell your students you don't know. Don't make up answers, right? So you don't know, you're gonna like research for this, like technique, information. Because jiu-jitsu professor, what I learned so far, we are a little bit like psychologists, right? So if you don't know how to answer the questions of your students, like they are requiring a little beyond the jiu-jitsu, hey, I want to take a look what I can help you, and I want to bring better information. That just say something else is not going to help them, but maybe like getting their lives worse, right? And listening, it's an important key.
Also, really quickly, I wanted to bring up the fact that if you tell your students, hey, I don't know something, they're going to trust you more. If you are like teaching a technique, somebody is asking you a question and you make up an answer, the student is going to see through that, and they're not going to trust you anymore.
Yeah, 100%. I think the not knowing, it brings value. Brings value, right? Because right now they know, oh, okay, he doesn't know, he's not lying to me.
Yeah.
I can trust him.
Yeah.
Right? Brings more value for like this relationship. Let's go moving forward, and then right now we're gonna talking about as a leader, right? And then that's another tough one, because planning. Planning, that's something's really hard to do during the day, during the week. Sometimes wake up in the morning and they start like doing habits that you have like for whole life. So like wake up, you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, shower, leave the bathroom, go to the kitchen, drink your coffee, make your change, go to work, talk with the same person, come back home, eat, and that you leave an automatic loop that sometimes you don't think about what you do, right? Because you already know all these like tasks 100% defined, right, by dailies. You forget to plan in your week. And then sometimes when the people ask about you, and then when you talk about your dreams, your goals, what you want to do, and then you say like, I don't have time. Of course you don't have time, because you don't know how much time free you have.
Yeah.
Because you're not planning your day, you're not planning your week, you're not planning your month. It's all right. Planning, it's really important for like a little develop better results. So Joke, when he's talking about his book, right, he's like, make a nice strategic plan, how to get these people, how to reskill somebody else. It's like how that strategy is gonna literally affect that on the results of the plan, the strategy. But without plan, how you can get there? How? When? What? Right? You gotta make the questions so you can make a better plan. So for me, at the beginning, was really hard. Has this like so defined, like detailed. Like I want to do this in the morning, I want to do this in the afternoon. I know I have classes right here. I know I have classes right here. But the other day, I just want to like feel with like the space I have. And in reality, you lost a lot of time. And then you don't know how much time you have until you start planning your day, until you start planning your week. I think planning, that's a key of freedom. And then gives you so much time to accomplish whatever dreams you have. And it goals, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have a plan, you're going into things blindly, and you're not going to be able to accomplish all the things that you want to do, right? So I think it's very important that you plan and prioritize the things that need to get done, and make sure that you have the ability to do all the things that you want to do in a day.
What you say right now, it's really important, like it prioritizes, right? So sometimes we are overwhelming us really much with everything is going to be really important and then also urgent. We need to get done today. And now I know a lot of people, they just put it off, right? They postpone it. They procrastinate. And they procrastinate, that's like a habit that you like always, I want to do tomorrow. And then became part of you. So when we overwhelm us, like telling everything is really important and urgent, we are, most of times we are not capable to do everything. We are burning out. We are developing the habit of stress and then fully excitement about get everything done. Then you can make this, and then that's when you start like put your expectations really high level, and then because you cannot like accomplish, you start like getting dismotivated, and then postpone everything. So I think what you say prioritize is like, if you plan your day and then you put like, this is going to be really important to do right now, but it is not urgent, right? And then this is urgent. I need to do today, or I need to do tomorrow, or I need to do like after the end of the week. And then this right here, you can put right there. And then when you plan your day and the week, you're going to see what you can prioritize as important, urgent, and then you're going to put your own energy in the good direction without getting high expectations and then burn yourself out. And then, of course, accomplishing and make sure everything's going to be done in a good way.
Yeah. And even moving that into like a jiu-jitsu context, right? If you don't have a game plan going into a competition, you're literally relying on outside factors, right? So you can't control anything if you don't have a plan going into that, right? So you're going to be at a disadvantage because the person you're going against is probably going to have a plan and they're going to be able to execute it before you do, right? So you're responding, you're reacting instead of acting.
That's exactly what we do most of the time, right? Before competition, we ask, what's going to be your plan? What's going to be your strategy to win this fight?
Right.
We know sometimes it's not going to go the way you planned.
Right.
But we have a plan, right? We need to have a plan in order to accomplish goals. Because if you just try go with the flow, you don't know what's going to be the result, right? Discipline, planning. So discipline is the key to freedom in leadership. So discipline for me, that's what I understand. It's the capacity, right, to do hard things. I want to put it away. Eating healthy. Going to the gym. Right? I know people love going to the gym. It's okay. But make this discipline on your life. Going to the gym because I just want to go today, that's one thing. Going to the gym every day because you need to get your body shape, because you need to get your body healthy, because you need to looking good, that's different. That's different. Like you say, like, I want to go to the gym today because I just want to work out today. Okay, nice. But your body doesn't look well, right? You just want to like mess around. So you want to go to the gym because you want to look well. You're going to go to the gym because you want to work out. You're going to go to the gym because this is important for your life. That's not because that's like a hobby, you know? Oh, I have time to go to the gym today. Like I want to go to my hairstylist today. No, right? So eating healthy, we had so much junk food out there. It's so easy to go for In-N-Out. Oh, I don't want to say names, but whatever it is, get some like junk food, eat. And how are you going to look like after 1, 2, 3 months? I was at the place, right? Reading, right? It's so hard to sit every day and make sure you're going to read a book. You're going to push yourself to learn something new. To understand you don't know everything. You got to learn. You got to do better. So discipline, that's a capacity. And I also see successful people that are so far what I watch them, they succeed because they are able to do hard things. Discipline, that's a capacity to do things that sometimes you don't want to do, but you do it because it's going to give you the best results to your life, right? And then, of course, sacrifices. And so think about it. So today, I want to eat my hot dog, but I know it's not going to be good for my body, right? And the sacrifice, do not eat junk food today in order to have a better body tomorrow or today. A lot of people is not able to do that because they know it's hard. So there's no discipline. So without discipline, we cannot start, right? And then the consistency, right, makes you keep on going.
Absolutely.
It's really important. What do you think, Natasha? Sorry.
Yeah. And also, I think that discipline is a skill that can be learned and built upon. People are not either disciplined or undisciplined. No, it's about making the active choice every day to do the hard things, to consistently keep up with the things that you know that you need to get done. And over time, that becomes easier and easier. There are many, many mornings where I wake up. Tuesday, Thursday, we have a 6:30 a.m. class. To get to that class, I have to wake up at 5:30. I don't ever want to wake up at 5:30, But because I have built that habit and I tell myself every morning, no, I have to go. Getting up in the morning and going to that class is a win for me. And that win carries out throughout the rest of the day because I'm like, oh, I've already done one hard thing. I can do another hard thing. Oh, I don't want to waste all the progress that I made in the morning doing that difficult thing, ruining it by eating something unhealthy or doing something that negatively impacts my health or my day in general, right? So once you get these little wins and you build habits for yourself that allow you to continue to do these hard things consistently, you improve your skill of being disciplined.
It's unbelievable, and I love what you said, because if you have this mindset that I win already, this as like a win accomplished, and then I don't want to screw it up the whole day because I just did one hard thing and then right now I can go easy with everything. It's a game changer, right?
Yeah.
It's like we all think about it. Victory. Everyday victory, right? You want to win one, you want to win the next one, you want to win the next one. You're going to be the winner every day, every time. But to be a winner every day, every time, we need a lot of effort. Right? It requires a lot of effort. And that's why I want to just give a little bit right now. The next video, the next podcast, we're going to talk about dopamine. And the dopamine, that's the key to change your habits. That's the key to change the way you think. That's the key to change the way you're going to see things happening to you. Because sometimes we do things that we don't know what we're doing. And then why we're doing this. And then actually, why we keep doing this. It's crazy, right? So the habit of winning became such a hot wire in your brain. And then for you, win, that's a habit. And then you're going to be a winner, right? No matter what, you're going to win because that's exactly what you tell yourself every day. That's discipline, the capacity of doing things that you want to win every day.
Absolutely.
No matter what, because we know we needed this to succeed. And if you want to be average, you don't need to win every day, right? You can lose. That's okay. That's your choice. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
So you got to pick what you want to be. If you want to be a loser, you pick be a loser. If you want to be a winner, you got to work hard, but it doesn't have easy days. That's every day you got to kill 10 lions. And then, and then we stand up and then go for the other day and then do it again. So discipline is the key of the freedom. So the last one is going to be how leaders going to stand up to your team and then students and then friends and whatever it is, right? So I love to be close to my students, right? I love to sit, to talk, to listen, to advise, to guide, to mock, to tease. I love all of them because to laugh with them, right? I don't like to cry, but sometimes happen, right? We want to be sad, we lose a competition, we want to be bad. But it's really hard. You keep the distance between one and another. The students, they have to understand on the mat, we are no longer friends, right? We are a professor and they are the students. If they start like misunderstanding this, we're gonna lose the respect in the class and everybody wanna try do anything they wanna do because we lost the leader. Everybody's the same, right? So King Arthur, right? He has a table that wasn't squared. It was rounded. And then the main goal for this table be rounded, he was a king, but everybody was the same, right? He was to be everybody seeing each other like leaders, how people to take decision, to be able to tell what they think, and then the whole table is gonna take like the final decision, right? But he never missed the point of be the king. The final decision has to be taken for him, right? So I believe so much in this, and then I want my students like have the same power as I have. However, they have to understand like when I'm teaching, I'm still being the King Arthur, right? I'm still being the professor, the leader, that they can misunderstand that because and at some point the relationship started losing what I believe the most for each relationship, respect, right? So we're gonna laugh, you're gonna train, you're gonna talk. But when you're teaching, we gotta listen up, you gotta pay attention because it's like a job, that's a career, that's like important things happening right there that everybody needs to pay attention. So you gotta be close to your students, you gotta be close to your team, you gotta be close, whatever it is, but not that close that they never is gonna misunderstand what's gonna be your position. They need to see you as a leader, no matter what. You're gonna hang out with your friends, we are working, you're the leader.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Natasha?
Absolutely. You have to be close enough to the group that you're liked and respected, right? You have to be close enough to the group so that you can understand their concerns. You can communicate openly and freely with them. You can get that feedback that we talked about earlier, but not so close that you lose that familiarity, that respect.
Control, right?
Exactly. Because we notice this mostly with the kids because, that's the clearest way you can see it, right? Because a kid, they respect authority, but once you get too familiar with the kid, you've lost all respect and you've lost all control.
Exactly.
Right? So it's just about, keeping a little bit of space, keeping that line to make sure that you are still an authority figure.
100%. You gotta give everything you have. But in the meantime, you gotta understand they cannot take everything. Mm-hmm. It's complicated, right?
Yeah, it's about balance. Yeah, finding a balance.
Right? So they cannot take everything because if they think they are like you, that's no wrong. They can be like me. I wanna they be like me, but they always have to understand he's my leader. He's the guy teaching me. He's my boss, right? He's my mentor. He's my guider. Whatever's gonna be your position, always have to be this like chain of respect, mm-hmm. right? Like they never lose the respect because I think that's when the relationship starts like get a little messed up. All right. Anything else, Natasha?
Nope.
I think I love it. I believe I love it. So I widely recommend extreme ownership, no matter where you are, Jiu-Jitsu school, selling community or department, right, or any type of business, you gotta relationships, basic relationships as a boyfriend and girlfriend, like wife and the husband, friends. This book is gonna give you so much awareness for you guys to see the difference between one perspective of one side and the other. I do recommend you guys read the book if you want to be a better person, of course, if you want to be better leader.
Absolutely. I had a really great time talking about leadership today, and I look forward to the next one.
Let's go talk about the next one. See you guys next episode. Thank you so much.